Welcome back to another episode of Excalibur CCG TV's Talking Comics. We are your hosts. I am Randy.
I am Mark.
And we are going to be talking about comics that will be on the shelves Wednesday morning for December 13th, 2017. Did you? I thought you were about to speak.
I was not.
Oh, okay. Well, Mark is not speaking. So I will go through the rest of the spiel here. You know where we're located. We're in Texarkana, Texas, and Shreveport, Louisiana. You can find the directions to either of those those locations, I should say, by going to our website, ExcaliburCCG.com, or going online to our Facebook page. You can also find the phone number for us by doing that. Just real quickly before we get into the comics this week, I want to let you guys know we still have copies of some of the books that are hot right now. We're talking about, yes, touch it, it's hot. Don't touch it, it's hot. Sometimes you have to learn by touching it, and then you don't touch it again.
What are we talking about?
Comics, I think.
Oh, okay.
And stoves.
Okay.
We have Doomsday Clock #1. It is still in the store. We're looking at the lenticular cover for it, not all the other variants. Those are long gone. But the lenticular is still available. Batman Annual #2 is still available. That is hot. It's already going back to a second print, and it is the first date of Catwoman and Batman. Avengers 673 is still on the shelves as we speak, as we're filming. Hopefully it will be by the time the video posts. That is the major death of a character. And finally, Doctor Strange #382 is still available. That is a major return of a character. And so they are hot. They are things that are all going to new prints. So make sure that you get your copy if you are one of those that loves to have the hot books, or if you want to get in on the story that is being talked about everywhere, being sought out everywhere. Still not talking? Have nothing to add.
Well, you hadn't stopped talking, so I haven't been able to talk.
I paused for you.
Did you?
Yeah.
I must have been sleeping through that part.
Oh, okay. It's
I have nothing to say.
He has nothing to say.
Really don't.
Well, you really do now, because we're going to dive into the
Oh,
comics,
okay.
and you start us off.
All right. Well, starting with Dark Horse from Carlos Valderrama and Miguel Valderrama. Two Valderramas are better than one. That's Giants #1 of 5. Cataclysm of unknown origins unleashed a race of gigantic monsters whose presence has driven humanity underground. There, two orphans discover that the most dangerous monster is ambition, which unchecked will grow until it devours you. Okay. Don't know who the Valderrama brothers are, but I guess they're like famous somewhere, because this is their first American work. I don't know.
I'm not familiar with them either. From Titan Comics, I've got Millennium, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest #1. It didn't give me an of, but it's usually 2 or 3 issues for that series.
Big issues. Huge issues.
Stieg Larsson, of course, is the original writer. Runeberg is adapting this, and
Runeberg.
I hope he's not as annoying as Goldberg was. Okay. Within this story, this part of the girl saga, the Dragon Tattoo saga, Elizabeth Salander is in critical condition in a hospital in Sweden. Why? Because she has a gunshot to the head. If she recovers, she is to be taken back by officers to Stockholm and stand trial for some murders that she has committed. However, she has a journalist friend who wants to help her fight back. She was a victim first off. Now she is something more, and she is going to fight against an authority that has been ignoring the vulnerable and the helpless there in Sweden.
Okay.
Fight the power.
Fight the power.
That's right. So, there we go.
Okay.
What's next for you?
Next for me, from Aftershock Comics, Monstro Mechanica #1 from Paul Allor and Chris Evan Evan This is a new series starring Leonardo da Vinci, his female apprentice, and their wooden robot.
Yes.
Okay. At the height of the Renaissance, warring factions vie for control of Leonardo da Vinci's destructive arsenal. The only thing standing in their way is that phone call.
That's right.
The only thing standing in their way is Leonardo's young apprentice and her 9-foot-tall mechanical bodyguard. I thought he was wooden. But now he's mechanical.
Wooden mechanics.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Together they navigate a world of wicked men and war machines, determined to save Leonardo from the world and the world from Leonardo. Okay. Creators Paul Allor, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Chris Evan from Winona. Comes a swashbuckling adventure story about war, identity, and the birth of the modern world. So this Paul Allor guy is written Leonardo the Turtle and then Leonardo da Vinci.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right. I'm actually have this on my pull list. I'm intrigued by this story.
It looks actually pretty cool.
The art looks beautiful.
Yeah.
I know that. And
that Evan Ruiz, really good artist.
Just
He draw pretty.
I'm guessing that Paul Allor was watching the episode of Futurama with Leonardo da Vinci when he came up with this idea.
Pretty awesome episode.
Which is a pretty awesome episode.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. I don't know if I can top that with this, but I'll try. We have My Little Pony Holiday Special 2017.
All you bronies out there.
All you bronies out there. James Asmus has come back to write this, and he's writing with Brenda Hickey. With the new year coming up, the ponies of Equestria, because that is their land apparently, are ready to celebrate in silly and unexpected ways.
Aren't we all?
There's going to be a lot of booze. A lot of regrets the next morning. This is rated mature for your My Little Pony. No, not really. But I may actually pick up a book if it was that. That might catch my attention.
If we get the Jack Daniels pony pop in, I want it.
We may. I may have a surprise question of the week here for you guys, and
We might have 2 questions of the week.
oh, might we?
Yep.
Okay, I'll have a fun holiday festive one, and
I'll have a boring comic book one.
yeah, and mine will go back to My Little Pony, so be ready for that. What's next?
That's done?
Yeah, that's it. That's all I had to say about that.
Okay, yeah.
That's all I've got to say about that.
Okay, My Little Pony Holiday Special. Hopefully it'll sell as well as the DC Holiday Special.
We're getting not nearly as many of the DC specials, so if it sells that well, I'm going to be very happy.
Me too. All right, so from Image Comics, the return of Rumble #1, a new #1, John Arcudi and David Rubin.
Love his art.
Yeah. And Soul Without Pity, Part 1. Rathrak is back. But who is he exactly? Once an ancient warrior god, he was resurrected as a sword-wielding scarecrow. And now Rathrak has transformed yet again. Or has he? There's a lot of who is he? Or has he? Okay. Anyway, this is a new face of Rathrak and a new direction for the series. So it's got a Mignola cover on the first issue variant, and that's what I'm getting.
I don't know if it had 2 volumes to it. It may have just been 1 volume, but we've got the 1 volume you can definitely catch up on.
It should be
Is it 2?
2. I think it went to like 12 or 13.
Oh, okay. But we have those for you to catch up on if you want to get that along with the #1.
Absolutely.
And
see what his old self looked like before his new self
yes,
shows up.
even though it's a perfect jumping on point.
Perfect.
I've got one of your favorite writers on board for this next series book here. Wicked and Divine Christmas Annual #1.
Is it Cullen Bunn?
No. Kieran Gillen is writing it. But along with Chris Anka, your favorite artist, Various, is on board.
Oh, awesome. always get his stuff for Urs.
That's right. This is a must for the Wiccan Divine fans. Kieran and Jamie got together and they decided it would be great if they had some of their friends draw stories that tell the early fun episodes and shenanigans of the
Hijinks.
gods. Yes, hijinks of the gods. So you're going to get to see. This is
Hijinks
very
of the
different.
gods.
This is going a very different direction
It was
than
like a
the
movie
My
in the
Little Pony.
70s, wasn't it? Like about aliens
Oh.
starting everything. Hijinks of the gods.
Hijinks of the gods. I could see that. There were, in the 60s, there was the hygiene of the gods, which told them that if they didn't brush their teeth, they might fall. Or that would be maybe
All
the
gods
50s.
must wash hands before returning to them.
That's right. This is very different than the My Little Pony because we get to see Inanna and Belle get it on. We get to see Lucifer and
Bang a
Sekhmet get it on and banging gongs. And we get to see Dionysus drive around with Baphomet in a
in
crappy...
the Bathmobile.
Well, the Bathmobile is a pretty crappy car, is what they're saying.
That's
So
okay.
there's many other stories to go along with this of the gods, but if you want to just have some fun this Christmas, I recommend getting the Christmas sweater cover because that looks awesome. But that is it for the number ones.
Number one's done.
Before we get to those questions for you guys, a couple of stories with comic book news here. It's been a while since we've heard some fun, good things to tell you guys that you
Really
can
has.
look forward to.
Really
Yeah. First up, Greg Smallwood and his sister, not wife, Megan Smallwood, are giving us from Archie Comics Vampironica. This is going to be the next in the line of the Afterlife with Archie, Jughead the Hunger, Sabrina the Teenage Witch, where they're keeping with that theme. So Vampironica, that I think is set to debut in March. And maybe around the same time, we've got Dr. Star and the Kingdom of Lost Tomorrows. It's got to be better than Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of whatever, the Crystal
Skull.
Crystal Skull, yes.
Yeah.
Why is this better? Because it is another miniseries for the Black Hammer series, which is just a phenomenal read. Jeff Lemire is still penning it, and Max Fiumara is on board for the art. You can check out his art in Abe Sapien if you want to see just how awesome that art is.
Awesome is the word.
Awesome. So, on to the big important things. Questions of the week. Not questions.
2 questions. Bonus question. Holiday bonus. This is
Holiday
your holiday
bonus.
bonus. This is your Christmas bonus.
That's right. Do you
Extra
want to start
question.
off with you or me?
It doesn't matter.
Let's go with the comic book since
Okay.
that's
Well,
pertaining to what we're talking about.
I was just thinking this morning, and in the light of Marvel getting a new editor-in-chief, we don't know what he's going to do, what he's going to change, who he's going to bring back, not bring back, whatever Disney Fox thing probably has something to do with that. I don't know, but what if you were the new editor-in-chief of Marvel? What would you change? Who would you bring back? Who would you get rid of? Doesn't have to be creators, can be characters. What would you do to make Marvel great again?
I like the fun teams that they used to have. The multiple man led X Factor team was just a fun comic book series.
He could be his own team.
He could be his own team, but the cast of characters they had with him they just meshed very well. And the Young Avengers, I really miss those characters being in a book together. That fun type of storytelling they had with the characters has not been there with the other books that they've been appearing in. So I'd like to see something like that, having some of these classic teams come back, or some of the characters maybe acting a little more like themselves.
Yeah. I could definitely see that. I would probably do a lot of things, but one of the things I would do is I would get friendly with the other companies again and not be douches to them, and then do some crossovers.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Been a long time.
Marvel's the only one not playing. They're not playing in anybody else's sandbox. They're just sticking to themselves, and everybody else is doing crossovers. Like everybody. So I think I would get that going again, because that's just. mean, God, I mean, Deadpool, Harley Quinn, that's print the money. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Here's another thing I would say. You need to make the books story-centric again, character-centric, where we're not leading up to events every so often. Kill the event off for 5 years, 2 years, something.
Events should be something very big and very seldom. They should be really actually universe changing and not just let's ignore it and go on to the next one because we're already done with this one.
Yeah, and while they're doing that, I think that they should scale back on the characters in multiple books, and that way you could get some of these creators that really got bent out of shape over the fact that when they came in, they were so heavily controlled with how they could tell stories. You get people that they are red hot superstar creators, and then you handcuff them with their stories. It's not about killing a character off here or there. It's about being able to tell some sort of story, but you go, no, we're planning on using this character over here. Don't use a character all over the place.
Yeah. It's funny how that, this character's we have plans for this character, you can't use them. But at the same time, there's other characters that they're using that it's okay for them to use. So it's just like certain characters are off the table.
Yeah.
Even though it's the same situation for a different character. You can't use this one, but you can use this. So it's kind of strange.
Yeah, I mean, if you have an X-Men team, you don't need to have Storm on 3 different teams so that this person can't tell this type of story because you're planning on using her over here.
Right. Yeah, or, I mean, if you want to use her in an Avengers story, oh, no, you can't do that because we're using her for this. Yeah, but, I mean, it's okay to use this other schmo.
Yeah, stop handcuffing the creators, because that's really going to affect them wanting to come and work for the company. They're going to get really burnt out very quickly on all the rules that have been put in place with what they can and can't do. So, that's a good question. Very good question. Fun question here. I mean, not that wasn't fun, because I enjoyed answering that. Holiday question. We'll say that. What is one of your most a memory from Christmas that sticks out the most to you? Funny. I don't want to hear sad stories, guys. A funny story, fun story. The thing I was thinking about this morning was, and it goes back to My Little Pony. Back when I was a kid in the 80s, a long time ago, that really sounds, gosh. They had a show that was called Rock Lords.
I remember Rock Lords.
And Rock Lords had these awesome toys that they were basically like Transformers or GoBots, that they were a rock that would transform into a robot being. And then they had these little guys that were called Gnarlies, and they were on wheels that you could take and wind them back, and when they go forward, they were fuzzy, kind of like the troll hair.
Yeah.
Their bodies were, and their snout would kind of move as it rolled forward. And I found out one Christmas where my mom hid the presents before she put them out underneath the tree. So I snuck into the closet. And very inexperienced snooper. I was a young kid at the time, and I opened up a little corner to peek inside, and I saw my Gnarly in there, and I was super excited because this is what I'd been talking about and wanting. Christmas Eve, we were able to open one present. I made the beeline straight for that gift, ripped it open, and proceeded to have like the cry fest of the century, because there where the Gnarly was supposed to be was a pony. So
oh, wow.
My hatred of the ponies began right there, because
what happened to the Gnarly?
They had moved it to another box, but they had known that hole was there, and obviously I'd been tampering, and I never looked at any other present ever again, because I never wanted another pony.
Wow.
So it was fun. It was funny. It was a learning experience. But man, they were cool toys, because I got lots of them that year. But
that's cool.
Is there any that you remember, fun ones?
Well, I have a few, but one, I got a racetrack with the little electric cars, and Christmas morning, I didn't know I was going to get it. It was a surprise thing. It's nothing I had asked for, so it was like really cool, and I was all jacked up, and oh man, I can't. So we put it all together, got the batteries and the controllers, got the car set up, and they didn't move. Didn't move. I was disappointed. I guess parents returned it. They didn't exchange it because I didn't get another one. I don't know what
Probably
happened.
sold out or something.
Probably. So years later, I find out that my sister and her husband had set the whole thing up the night before and broke my racetrack set.
They were playing with your present.
They were playing with my present the night before.
That is wrong. You don't do that to a kid.
Yeah, I know. So, yeah.
And they didn't feel the need to tell the...
Nope. I didn't find out until I was probably 6 or 7 years old when it happened, and I didn't find out until after high school, after I was in high school.
They thought that was enough time.
Yeah. She was like on a different husband.
Did you still feel some anger there?
Yes.
Resentment?
I still feel it talking about it to this day.
Not cool.
No, that was... yeah.
Fun stories, both, but still end in somewhat of a tragedy.
Yeah. Well,
nobody shot their eye out, but it may as well have been that.
Metaphorically shot my eye out.
Right. Your sister sniped your eye out.
She did. And your parents sniped yours.
Yeah. Well, I did that to myself. I'm not even lying about that. That was just stupid on my part. But I had to know.
Well, that's just being a kid.
Yeah, it really is.
We all did that.
I mean, that was a pretty good lesson to teach.
Oh yeah. Well, that was for sure.
Okay. Well, with that, so let's go ahead and wrap it up. We've got some good questions there.
Like holiday presents.
Yeah. Like holiday. Okay.
Yeah, Christmas presents.
So, guys, remember we are Excalibur Comics, and you can follow us online at our website, ExcaliburCCG.com, on Facebook. You can see what the new list is each week with what books will be in store here. You can also subscribe, like, thumbs up, ask us where Chris is. Do whatever you want here. Comment on our questions of the week. If you were Marvel Editor-in-Chief, what's a change you would bring about to the company?
Doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah. And just share with us one of your fun holiday memories that you have. Beyond that, anything else to add?
Done.
No, done. All right. Works for me. Until next time, guys, read great comics and comment on the question, the video here, and we will see you next week. Bye.